Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enabled you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide. And I just want to say it is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Mari, and I'm just in a real haze and daze. I don't know if you guys are, but this energy has been really, really churning, and it seems that with every day of Mercury in retrograde, we are just plugging our way along, and this is a little different. I'm going to talk tonight a lot about this. This is a little different than other Mercury in retrogrades, and we're going to talk about why. But if you've been feeling like there's a big spin of energy, like there's a big churn, like you're just asking lots more questions than you normally do, things don't seem to make much sense, or they seem to becoming crystal clear that you have to make a decision on X, Y, Z, on this relationship or that friendship or this job or that, career path or this space where you're living, or, even changing the color of your bedroom, whatever it is. This is a time of real contemplation and action-taking, more so than ever before. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're talking about fall harvest tonight, and for those of you who don't live in a part of the country where you have all the seasons, you're not going to go through the snowstorms like us, but you also miss out on some of the fun stuff that comes along with the seasons. And one of those things is our cycles, our own energetic cycles align with the seasons. So even if you're in an area, a part of the country that doesn't have the four seasons really all that, defined, your body is still sort of trying to align with those shifts. So we're going to go into that, because now is the time for receiving. Now is the time for receiving, and of course gratitude. In the United States of America, we have Thanksgiving coming up. This show reaches 130 countries worldwide. So and I know a lot of you listen overseas, and I really am so grateful, because I know a lot of you are even on the calls live when it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning where you are. But in the U.S. we have Thanksgiving coming up. So tomorrow's the big travel day. Everybody's getting on the road. I was in the grocery store getting this stuff so I could make my contribution to Thanksgiving Day dinner today, and it's just it's a fun time. Everybody's kind of getting either stressed out or excited, a little bit of both, and but there's a certain feel to the air. There's a certain energy. There's a certain charge that happens around the holidays. For some people, it's certainly a tough time for obviously a myriad of reasons. But tonight we're going to talk about what's different this year, because in addition to it being fall harvest, in addition to, we normally do have a Mercury in retrograde around this time. Last year it was later. It was like the beginning of December, which, created a lot of havoc for Christmas shopping and stuff. But somewhere in between like November 6th and December 12th is when we kind of normally have that third Mercury in retrograde of the year. And it's nice that we're getting it done early this year. It'll be done on November 26th. So we still have about 6 more days, and I'm going to talk to you a lot about the difference of this one versus other years in a little bit. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping, then I'm going to get into all that. And I know I see thank you guys. You are listening to all the emails and the Facebook messages about calling in early. We have a ton of people already waiting on the line. I will be doing some readings tonight, so if you'd like to chat with me or ask a question, the number is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. So you can call in, and my producer Sam will check in with you and get you into the queue so you can get on the line with me. And depending on how much I yap through all of this content that I've prepared for us tonight, I will either get to the first questions right at the tail end of this segment or the very beginning of next segment. So please hang on the line if you do have a question. All right. So the only major logistical thing that I wanted to talk about or housekeeping thing is our Hurricane Sandy fundraiser. I have donated several angel readings to the Hurricane Sandy fund in the sense that I'm doing angel readings now until Sunday. This is going to be going on till Sunday. And it's essentially 50% of every private angel reading that I do will go to Hurricane Sandy efforts. And these are half-hour readings. They're $99 a piece, so $50 of that $99 is going to the Hurricane Sandy efforts. In fact, today I was online with the folks at the Monmouth SPCA. It's the big animal shelter in that area, and it's pretty beat up down there. I actually took a trip down the shore a couple of days ago, just sort of with my own eyes, see what was going on, and to just feel the energy and kind of get an idea, because I never asked you to do anything I haven't done myself, so I wanted to make sure just to see for myself. And it's a tough time down there. I mean, certain areas are certainly doing a lot better than others. I was really excited that some of the areas I personally wanted to move to are very much intact and they're very high up. They're kind of on a bluff overlooking the ocean instead of down on the lower sea level areas. But those sea level areas, oh my goodness, it's really, really sad. So we're going to do our best to get some help to the critters and to the folks out there. I'm going to be working with a couple of friends of mine who are in the business of training animals and that kind of thing, and we're kind of making some decisions as to how we're going to allot the monies. They seem to need a lot of food and cat litter and all that kind of stuff, but they also need office supplies and gift cards to like PetSmart and CVS and Staples and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to figure out what's the best way to divide that up and get that out to people. But I'm going to be like personally driving it down there and handing it to them myself, because I like to know that the money that we've all contributed is going right into the hands of where it belongs. So I will be personally doing that beginning to middle of next week. So you'll see pictures on Facebook. If you're not already on my Facebook page, be sure to go to facebook.com/Mariana M. Cooper. And you can also go to our business page, which is Aha Moments Inc. And, you can like the page and just ask to, be my friend on Facebook, and I'll friend you if you're not already there, and you'll see kind of the updates on what's going on with that. But we do have some more spots open. I actually opened up 20 more spots because the fundraiser is going pretty good, and I want to be able to give some more money. So if you'd like to get a reading, you can use the readings up until January 15th, but you definitely want to book it before Sunday, because Sunday's the last day that I can do this. It's Aha Moments Inc., so it's www.ahamomentsinc.com/Sandy, SANDY, hyphen, so that's a dash, or just the punctuation mark, a dash, hyphen angels. So Sandy Angels, Sandy-Angels. So it's ahamomentsinc.com/Sandy-Angels. And you just pay for your reading, and then we'll get in touch with you probably within, a few hours of what appointments are available, and you'll get that, and then we're good to go. So anyway, I think that's it really for housekeeping for now. I'm gonna move on to the content. I see so many of you calling in. So the number to call in 347-215-9485. Okay. So let's talk about this energy and what's happening, because you keep hearing me say this. It's different, it's different, it's different. We've got all this stuff going on at the top of every show. We do our energy check and all that kind of stuff. But I personally have been noticing some really big differences this year over many, many years in the past. This happens to be a good time of year normally for me. Things kind of flow, and there's always kind of that swell. There's always, I was running telesummits or doing some sort of big project, so money's always kind of flowing, and we're getting ready for the holidays. And I think a lot of people kind of go through that stage where financially you can kind of see what your energy does, because there's certainly times of the year where it's much tighter and lower and heavier, and then there's times of the year where you feel more abundant and things just seem to flow with greater ease, especially if you're in business for yourself. If you're on a regular kind of paycheck job, then it's probably not as noticeable to you. But for those of you who are entrepreneurs, which I know a lot of you who listen to the show are, a lot of this can really affect you. And these energy cycles can very much affect how the money is flowing for you. So anyway, this time of year, though, this particular year in 2012, we have, of course, the end of the Mayan calendar on December 21st of 2012. We've got also all kinds of incredible numerology. We have 12, 12, 12, and 12, 21, 12, and we had what was it, 11, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 10, 11, 12 we had this year. It was all kinds of interesting numerical numbers and things, and all of this is kind of an accelerated evolution. That's what we're going through right now. So there's sort of cycles. You're seeing it. First we saw it with weather. Then we saw it with elections. And we've been seeing it all year with government, right? Because there's so many governments that have had such major shifts and transformations. We're seeing it with the way that the countries and the people of the countries, various countries around the world, are expressing themselves. Very reminiscent of the 60s, right? In some countries, but in a little bit more of a sophisticated way in certain ways. People are really coming into their own. People are coming into their own voice. People are recognizing also their power, not only their power as a group or as a culture, but also as an individual. And so you're getting a lot more outspoken folks. You're getting a lot more, the things like Facebook and Twitter in particular have given people much more power, much more of a voice. The blogosphere, meaning all the blogs that are out there, have given people much more power, much more of a platform to express themselves, person to person, individual to individual. And so that's not all a mistake. That's not all a coincidence. That's part of our evolution as a civilization. And so what you're seeing is these huge shifts in weather, these huge shifts in leadership, these huge shifts in what society is willing to put up with and what it's not, country by country, these huge shifts in medicine, in the way that we recover from, a variety of storms. Every storm that we have, every earthquake, every tsunami around the world influences how well we handle the next one. So that's been an evolution that's been around for some time, but really, really acutely, probably in the last, several years since Katrina. Well, actually since 9/11, that was a huge shift. And so if you look at this, instead of, a lot of people are, in my readings and various things that I'm doing, they're asking me, what's happening? Is this Armageddon? Is this the world coming to an end? And it's not the world coming to an end at large, but it is a stage coming to an end. It's a stage. There's a huge jump forward, and there's not only a jump forward in people's, let's say, their own personal progression, like I said, or their own personal expression. What's really jumping forward is the energy underneath it all. And so it's kind of like if you were surfing and you're laying on the surfboard and you're paddling out to catch the wave. And like when you first start off at the shore, where you can still, where you're standing watching, and then you start off at the shore, the water's really low, it comes up to your ankles, and it goes up to your calves, and it goes to your knees, and then it starts to be more buoyant, right? You can put the surfboard down, you're not walking anymore, you're laying on it, and you're paddling with your arms, and then you're waiting for the swell, and as you get deeper and deeper, the water it fills up underneath you more and more and more and more and more until you can actually get that big swell where you can ride the waves back to the shore. Hopefully you have good balance, you stay standing, and you have a good run. Well, it's the same thing with us energetically. We're now at a stage where the energy underneath us is taking us forward. Whether we like it or not, we're going. So if you're resisting, can you imagine a surfer who's on the board, okay, and they're going toward, of course, first you're going kind of against the current, right? You're going out, and then you're going to ride back in with the current. Can you imagine if that surfer decided that when the swell of the wave happened that they were still going to go against it and not go with it back onto the shore? It would be kind of painful, right? And that's what's happening with a lot of folks. So people who chose not to evacuate for the storm, that's a good example. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to resist this. I'm going to try to control this, and then they end up in a tremendous amount of trouble. I'm not saying it should have happened to them by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be illustrative in what's happening to us energetically. So a lot of this stuff, if you notice that you're speaking up for yourself more with family members or with spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends or wannabe boyfriends and girlfriends or friends, or you're having what my friend Sam calls a changing of the guard in your friendships, where you're just sort of leaving, just saying, what, I can't take this relationship anymore, this friendship anymore, because I really can't be me anymore. I can't play the game. I don't want to be kind of in an anesthetic relationship where I have to sort of be in anesthesia to put up with this person or vice versa, So what's happening is in other times, before the energy of the earth was shifting so much, we would go through these our own personal evolutions, but without so much of a tide underneath our feet. So we would have a little bit more. It wouldn't feel as acute, and it wouldn't feel as global, and it wouldn't be like as connected. And this is what's happening. I was in the store the other day, and during Hurricane Sandy, we had Target, some of these really big stores. I highly support Target. Target was amazing. They have these, they created a whole community service center out of their stores for folks, and they're really, really terrific. Anyway, we were in Target many hours and meeting lots and lots of people, and I met a gal, and she was terrific. She, we yapped and just about all kinds of stuff. And everybody, what was so interesting is, no matter where you were in that store, and the store is in a area where there's like 2 parkways that lead into it, and all kinds of major thoroughfares. So it gets people from many counties, several counties, many towns. Didn't matter. It was like one universal conversation in that store. Didn't matter if you knew people, you didn't know people. Everybody was talking to each other. Everyone's sharing information. Everyone, because everyone's going through the same crisis. Everybody was at some stage of power loss or power, regeneration. Everybody was at some stage of need. Everybody had some story about someone they knew down the shore, or someone they knew, in New York or Staten Island or any of these places. And the reason why I'm harping on this is because what was so fascinating to me is how much we all opened our hearts and how much we all opened our mouths, there was no division anymore. It was one giant family going through one big experience instead of all these little families going through their own with all their blinders on and, knocking each other down for the sales and beating each other out of the parking spaces. And this was a microcosm of the macrocosm of what's really going on energetically here. We're really, really, really changing gears. There's a big surge underneath our feet, and what you're going to see going forward in towards the end of this year, day by day by day, you're going to feel more intensity and more intensity and more intensity, and we're going. So if you are now, and what exacerbates that is the Mercury in retrogrades, is the eclipses that we had. We just had a solar eclipse. I was almost debilitated by that thing. I was a wreck. And I people say, "Oh, but you're the leader. You're not supposed." I don't see myself really as much of a leader. I'm just going through all this, and I like to share about it. But that solar eclipse, I could not get anything done. I just had to finally just take a nap for a day and just stop. And the next day, as soon as it was complete, because we also had that new moon, the super new moon at the same time, plus Mercury in retrograde, things sort of smoothed right out. Well, next week we have the lunar eclipse. Okay, so it's a week from today. We have the lunar eclipse, and it's the full moon. So this time, and we're also in the second half of the Mercury in retrograde. So the first part of Mercury in retrograde is a lot of contemplation. The second half is starting to it's where you're supposed to start taking some action. And when I say taking action, what does that mean? It really means that if you're getting insights, you're getting awarenesses about things that just don't work anymore. You want to clean out the closet. Go clean out the closet. Okay, you need to clean out the closet. You want to clean out the relationships and clean out the jobs and clean out anything that's not working. It's time to let it go, and allow yourself to be empty. You won't be empty for long in this energy. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. But if you allow yourself to be empty, what you're going to see is an influx of abundance, a fall harvest like you have never seen before. And that's what the show is supposed to be all about, is how do you manifest within this crazy energy? Well, you know what? It's like you've all been given keys to a Lamborghini. Now we got to teach you how to drive it, because you've been driving covered wagons. Now you're driving the Lamborghini. We need to teach you, kind of how to put your foot on the pedal and not give yourself whiplash. This energy is so incredibly powerful. And whatever you throw out there is coming back faster than you can even, like, it's a breath. Before, I know if any of you listen to Abraham Hicks, to Esther Hicks, and if you have ever listened to like the history, a lot of the more classic talks that she's done with Abraham, she used to talk about a lag time, kind of this discord between when you ask for something and when you actually receive it, and how, this long time that people were complaining about, why is it that I asked for something that takes so long to get here? And she would say, you should be happy, it's in the vortex and all these different things. Well, that time now has collapsed. That time is so much shorter. But remember that whatever you're thinking, if it's negative, it's happening immediately in your experience. If it's positive, it's happening immediately in your experience. Now, you might say, well, I haven't had, I didn't get the job I wanted right away yet, or I didn't get the new thing, this, or the relationship or whatever right away. But what is really manifesting immediately is the energetic shift that you're making with your thoughts. So if, let's say, you want that job, the job is really right there, but if you, for a second, doubt, it's like hitting a gong into the atmosphere now. Instead of dropping a pebble or just tapping a wooden table, it's like taking a big club and boom, hitting a gong. That's how sensitive the energy is. So you have to be more finessed with your thought processes, more finessed with what you are personally working towards. And the more, I hate to say it like this, but the more empty you can make things, the more, in the Kabbalah, I'm a Kabbalist, but in the Kabbalah they talk about emptying your cup. And now is the time. You can, sit in meditation and just say, empty my cup. I empty my cup and I allow it to be empty so that it can be filled up rapidly with what's for my highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of all concerned. So why don't you give that some thought on the break? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to start taking your questions. I see the board's really lit up tonight. I'm very, very excited about that. If you'd like to call in, the number is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. Yeah, and if you're near your computer, go on and sign up for a Sandy reading so I can give more stuff to the critters. I'm really excited about it. I'm like counting the money. I'm like, woohoo! We're getting into some nice numbers now. So, you're listening to the Aha Moments Radio Show. I'm Mari. We'll be right back.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hello, we are back. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. Tonight we're talking all about manifesting what you most desire in this fall harvest, in this crazy energetic time that we're going through, this evolutionary energetic time that we're going through. And I just want to mention a couple more things, and I'll start taking your calls. If you want to call in, you can call in at 347-215-9485. So we're talking about allowing yourself to empty your cup. And a lot of times people get really, they want guarantees that if you let something go or you empty something out, that it's going to be filled up. And that's where, in this energy, you want to really let it go, because it's going to fill up really fast. It's much faster than it has been in the past. And I think what's coming through from the angels in my channeling sessions and from my guides is that it's not just much quicker, it's much more in alignment, because we're more refined. It's kind of like we have more, more little caverns within our energy that can be filled up. So I guess it's kind of it's like learning how to drink from a bottle to a sippy cup to a glass, to a champagne flute. It's kind of like it gets better and better each time and more refined each time. So it's kind of like that, So receiving is a lot easier now if you're not thrashing around, overanalyzing, staying in your head, trying to control everything. It's a lot easier to bring things into fruition. One of the things that you can do, though, to help yourself, if you're like me and you happen to be hyper-intuitive and very psychic and very sensitive, you're probably getting a lot of anxiety. You might be feeling like you're not sleeping well, your sleeping patterns are changing, that your eating desires for what you eat are changing dramatically. I all of a sudden decided to be a vegetarian like 2 days ago. And I'm not a full vegetarian by any means, but it was like all of a sudden I just couldn't even look at meat. It was just the strangest thing. I'm an O blood type. I love meat. I do very well with, animal proteins or whatever you want to call it. But all of a sudden it was just like my body said, nope, body wants vegetables. Body wants vegetables and water and tea and more vegetables and water and tea and, brown rice and beans and vegetables and water and tea. And that's the last several days. It's been like that. I don't know why. Other than that, according to my guides, they're saying that my energy is refining and my body just wants a lighter load, and that's the shift for the time being. There's also, I guess, some nutrients and some energy in those plants and whatnot that my body's requiring at this point. So if you feel like you're doing some massive either appetite shifts or food craving shifts, allow your body to speak to you. Let it whisper what it needs to you so it doesn't have to scream it with sickness or anything like that. You want to also, now is a really good time to get energy work done. Having your chakras in particular balanced, getting your cords cut, meaning the energetic cords that we, that sort of get implanted in us when people, want our attention or they want us to do stuff, and they'll put a cord in you and try to pull your energy and that type of thing. You can just ask Archangel Michael to please cut the energetic cord so that you can keep and pull your energy back to yourself. You can envision yourself, most of us, our energy gets very fragmented because we were putting it out in so many different places. And what you want to do is just call the energy. Right before you go to sleep, it's a good time. Call the energy back to yourself through filters. You can just imagine a big, screen, and all of the energy that's been out there, working with other people, helping, supporting, whatever, comes back through those filters as purified back to you. So you're having all of your energy back with you and you're not spreading it too thin. It helps because a lot of people who don't get all this are panicking because they're feeling everything changing, so they start to hold on and grip more. So if you're one of those people that, carries a lot of light, you're doing all this intuitive kind of stuff, or you're living kind of this way, if you're listening to this show, clearly you're probably one of those people. You may be feeling a little bogged down and you're not quite sure why. It's because the collective consciousness, everybody's so concerned about so many things going on, and then going into the holidays, it's like almost like everybody's siphoning more energy from everybody else. And so clearing and cleansing your energy is really good. So having Reiki sessions done, having your bars run, there's a zillion different modalities. You can go to your local, health food store, or go to your local holistic practitioners and just explore and see what feels right to you. Exercise, of course, is always super, super good, especially outside in nature. Drinking a tremendous amount of water, really important right now. Really, really important. Water is an amplifier of energy, so it will help to raise the volume of your intuition. A lot of light workers are telling me, Mari, I can't hear my intuition. My clairvoyance is shut off. This is shut off. It's not shut off. It's just that you're requiring more now. So all you have to do is literally close your eyes and just ask your intuition to turn the volume up. You literally can envision yourself, playing with a dial and just saying, I'm willing to receive the information from my intuition. Please turn the volume up. Now, don't turn it up if you don't want to hear what it has to say and if you're not going to act on it. Because once you do turn it up, a lot of times you start to hear things that you don't necessarily want to hear. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's just, it is what it is. So that's a lot of times. Most of the time, when people tell me their intuition is low and it's been turned down and they're upset that they can't hear their intuition, it's because they haven't wanted to hear what it had to say, because usually it was telling them about an ending of something, or they had been going through a grieving process, and a lot of times it just sort of, you kind of just shut it off. But now is the time to have your intuition at a nice, good, steady, audible volume, and to actually take action on it. And drinking a lot of water helps with that. Like I said, your sleep pattern may feel really, 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 really different. And that is one of the things you want to make sure that you do is if you're being awakened in the middle of the night, you want to make sure that you are willing to give at least a half hour to spiritual study. If you can skip the drugs and the NyQuil and all that stuff, and you get a journal, and you just say, okay, angels, guides, whoever, the powers that be, Jesus, God, universe, spirit, what is it that I need to know most right now? I'm willing to read the books. I'm willing to write. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to meditate. What is it that I should be doing right now? You will get an insight. You will get awarenesses, and you need to act on them. If you do that during that hour, during that half hour, I trust me when I tell you, you will, once your studies are complete, you will get extremely drowsy and you will sleep better than ever. This is a time where it's extraordinarily important for the guides to get all of these new instructions out to every light worker out there. So sleep patterns are absolutely flipping over like apple carts, and people are losing it because they're thinking that something's wrong with them physically. It has nothing to do with that. So please just, follow that little bit of organic advice, and I'm sure 99% of you'll have a much better sleep if you just, I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, whenever you're being awakened and you're feeling like you're wide awake and you can't go back to sleep, that's an angel knocking on your door. So, all right. I think I'm going to stop there with the content. I'm going to take a couple questions. I'm sure some of this will come up in the questions that you guys have. So if you'd like to call in, and wow, good gracious, we have so many of you on the line. Whoa. The number is 347-215-9485. Okay, so Sam, let's see. Why don't we talk to Erin in British Columbia. Hi, Erin. Are you there? Hopefully you're still on the line.
Hi, Mari. I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me, Mari?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. I am very happy to talk to you. Thank you. It's my first time ever calling in live. So I am feeling like I'm ready for a big shift myself. Basically, the life that my husband and I had co-created and invested everything in for the last 8 years does not feel in alignment with my actual purpose now. And I'm looking at how to shift that and go towards the life that I'm feeling called to create. And I'm looking for some guidance on how to invest my energy and my, at this time, limited financial resources to make that happen. We actually moved to a new country and came from the city to a tiny village and created this whole life together, and now I'm feeling like this is not actually where I need to be in the future.
You want to keep what stream? What are the two options? Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay. I could not hear you. I'm sorry.
So you want to go to your one of Okay, so Okay, Sam's having a hard time with the technology, so just hang in there for a second. So basically he said for me to say everything again. So what I'm asking is just, I know that you said you had two options, one that you're doing now and one where you want to go. So what I wanted to know is which, what are you doing now and what is it that you want to go to? And then I can give you a little bit more detail.
I am from the Bay Area of California, and I moved away from there into a tiny village, and we've been homesteading and creating a whole new life up in British Columbia. And I am actually a dancer, a performing artist and dance educator, and I'm feeling like basically I just need to, I'm feeling called to go back to California. And away from this whole life we've created, basically on my own, and create my own life as a dancer, choreographer, and looking at creating my own business as well, and just feeling like wondering if I can do that. I'm trying to understand how I can learn how to create my own business and finally sustain myself, because after a lifetime of dance and not being able to based on my dance, I feel a little bit of fear around that, but yet I'm actually feeling called to do that. So it's basically looking at how to make that happen.
Okay.
Is that clear enough?
Yep, that's clear. We're good. So here's the thing. I commend you, and you did your part. You were there in the homesteading aspect of things to bring light to that particular area and to sort of get connected with that. And it was also, from what I'm getting from your angels, more of a past life thing, like you kind of have done the pioneering prairie, Little House on the Prairie kind of life in other lifetimes. So it was kind of like a finishing, even in that aspect of your relationship. As far as your dance is concerned, you can absolutely do that. You absolutely can be successful at that. It might spin in a different direction than what you're thinking. It may not be as traditional of a career as you've thought. It feels more like it might start out, what they're saying, as a volunteer opportunity that grows into something more, where you're like kind of part of more of a nonprofit performing arts center or something like that. Start off there as you're, working your way back into the industry a bit. There's a lot more opportunities for dancing beings and dancer type things. I'm a dancer too, so I get it. Than there have been in the past. I also see you may get, and this is something that they just said, you may get a consulting job on one of those shows. I don't know if it's like, Abby's Ultimate thing or, so you think you can dance, or even Dancing with the Stars. But maybe not Dancing with the Stars, but one of those up and coming, everybody needs their dance show kind of thing. So a lot of times they'll hire a dancer or a choreographer as a consultant to help them to build out a show. So that it feels like if you were in a volunteering situation, that something might lead into, one of those little really sweet deals that's sort of like, really, this could actually happen for me kind of a thing, especially since you've not been in town in a while. But that's the type of energy we're in right now. You have to stop saying, all this caution. Well, oh, could I do it? And should I do it? And will I have, with my limited finances? And stop spinning that, because what's happening is when you live in that whole sustainable homesteading thing, you get to the point where you get very comfortable with that, that low flow of income. Now you have to, if you're going to LA, now you have to get comfortable again with abundance and, that kind of bigger, larger than life kind of way of being, because that's just kind of the way it is, the nature of the energy, and it's going to feel much bigger now that you've been, homesteading and all that. So you kind of have to let yourself be cool with that and just recognize it is just as organic and holistic to be in LA, living your passion and doing what you most desire and honoring that calling in you and honoring all of the beings that you'll be helping in whatever capacity you go back to your career, as it was doing all the sustainable stuff on the homestead. So I hope that helps. But I would just allow yourself to follow as you're led, do a lot of journaling and a lot of, if I know you're probably around a pretty decent number of bodies of water. You want to just say, show me the way, and allow yourself to go step by step, and don't get ahead of yourself. Don't come up with too much of a plan, because in this energy, big plan, long-term plans kind of don't work. So just go step by step, day by day. Does that help? Let's see if Sam can get you back on.
Hello, Mari?
Yep.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I wanted to say that it does help, and thank you very much. And for me, leaving all of that also actually means basically leaving my relationship, which is another huge fear for me, but yet I'm feeling called to do that anyways. So is that part of what is going to work out for me?
Well, I was going to say that I could feel that, but it was too big for a radio show question, just because I have, about 100 other people waiting.
Other people to talk to, I understand. Okay.
The general thing is, if you're willing to empty your cup, it will be filled in a beautiful way with total ease, and that's where you want to focus on. And I think that, yes, that relationship, transitioning now into a new relationship, which will be more of a friendship and, no animosity. You might feel that way in the beginning, but I think it'll end up as a good friendship. It's just a transition. It's just the finishing of a past life thing. You kind of contracted to come back and do it again during a time when it was really needed, and now it's done. So move on. And that's it. So good luck to you, and have a great night. Thanks for calling in. Okay. I'm going to just check in here. Sam, can we do this? Like, we have so many people on the line, so I just want to make sure we can. I want to get to the next person here. I'm just looking at him Skyping. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to move on with the next caller, and we're going to go to Karen in Canada. Hey, Karen, how are you?
Thank you for taking my call.
Okay, what's your question?
My question is, I love this show because there's been so much anxiety and so many really, hard things going on with people close to me, relationships, so I'm picking up on all of it. But in the last couple of days, I've noticed, on my spiritual growth, I'm sleeping better, but all of a sudden in my right arm and in the top of my head, I was working and I wear a cap. I felt almost like there was something moving, and then I could feel fresh air. I had to touch the top of my hat to make sure my hat was on because I was inside. And the veins inside my right arm keep pulsating heavily, and it's like, I don't know what that is. It's weird. And now it's going down my leg, my right leg. So it's all on my right side.
Mm-hmm. Well,
is that part of this?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't want to give you like medical advice if it's not like a medical situation. I want to just say the disclaimer for the radio show: go to your medical help. However, energetically, that's actually quite normal. Last night I was doing some processing. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden my whole right side started like, just like.
Yes.
There's a lot of energy coming to the earth right now. That's why we're having all these, upheavals of weather and everything else. And as it settles into the energy of the earth, into the actual earth plane, it's affecting our bodies as well. By any chance, are you what sign are you? Are you an earth sign? Like
I'm a Taurus.
Okay, that's what I was feeling. So, yeah, a Taurus is really, really catching it right now, because there's so much shift in the actual platelets and the actual, like, the earth underneath us is just moving. And it's not earthquaking necessarily, but the ley lines are just like pulsating, boom, boom, boom. And so most Tauruses are usually so sort of, grounded and not really thinking about a lot of this stuff all that much. So I've seen a lot of them like, what's going on? Like, seriously, like I just want to focus on like the normal grounded things that, this is reality. Mari, you're a freak, and this is reality.
I'm right there with you. I'm the freak here.
Your body is just assimilating the changes in the earth. So what I would do is make sure you drink a lot of water. Make sure, you might want to do some Bikram yoga, because you Taurus can handle that heat better than anybody. And it'll actually just get rid of any kind of extra inflammation that you have, so in case any of this is caused by, some sort of shifting inflammation. But it feels like, some good solid meditation, movement for you. More movement. It feels like your body just wants to move, and move not so gently, a little bit. The big, of course, is more of the aggressive kind of yoga, in the sense that you're in that heat. But, playing racquetball or tennis or running or, something that's a little bit more like, or even dancing or Zumba, that kind of thing, flowy, Tai Chi, something that's in it is going to help to just move that energy. And that's what's happening to the earth. The earth is kind of like doing Zumba right now.
That's funny. That's so good. So, okay. Oh, thank you. Just really, because I've been doing a lot of cord cutting, and I've just been made aware of that. I wondered if that had something to do with what was going on.
Don't get so caught up. You're pretty good with the cutting off. Now, remember, you still have to go, and you still need to energy. You still need to communicate with the earth. And we get, a lot of us, especially light workers, we're feeling all this intensity, and the group consciousness is freaked out, and all the masses are waking up. They're freaking out over stuff we had freaked out over 15 years ago. All this stuff is going on. So we have to sort of hold up and cut ourselves off and cut ourselves off and cut ourselves off. And then what happens is, when you cut yourself from the frenetic, cutting yourself off for your own guidance. So you want to, it's time for you to just move and flow. Like Tai Chi would be really good for you right now. Feeling very.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. That was such beautiful advice. Thank you.
Oh, glad. Thanks for calling in tonight. Thanks for putting up with the technology. I appreciate it. Okay, let's try to fit one more in before the break, Sam. Viviana in Fresno, California. Are you still on the phone? I hope so.
Yes, I am. Hello. Thank you very much for speaking with me. So, it's been very strange these days, and I want to harness the energy. I want to be in that bounty and that harvesting of receiving, and I feel so fragmented in terms of like, what is my purpose? I feel called to so many things, but it just leaves me overwhelmed, and I want to know what is the best thing for me to be of assistance on this earth. I can't seem to focus on anything. And everything you've said thus far on the show has been excellent. The sleep patterns, everything is just right on the nose for me. So I that's basically my question. I don't know if you extrapolate a question from that, but that's my concern at this moment.
Well, it's a concern for everyone because nobody knows anything anymore.
Okay.
So, and that's part of, and this is for every, you're the only one who's listening to this show tonight that's feeling the way you do, Viviana. You're it. You're all by yourself. Nobody else feels any of this.
Oh, well, I understand I'm not the only one. In my head I am, of course, and I just want more clarity on my purpose. I've been doing I've been doing editing work and writing and translating, and but I also do counseling and I do flower essence work, and a lot of my flower essence work, which I love, I've been doing it for free for like 3 years, and I'm thinking, wait, it doesn't feel very balanced for me, and I can't seem to tap into my own flow of abundance. So I said I wanted to be in alignment with a receiving energy and not. I'm very much a giver. Also, I'm an earth sign. It's interesting you mentioned about the earth sign and feeling what's happening on the earth.
Okay.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
We're having some issues with the soundboard, so I was actually talking while you were talking. So let me start over. So first of all, yes, you listed a lot of things. What's happening right now is we are in this in eclipse season. Okay, so you have the solar eclipse, which is bringing up everything. So we had that already, and there was a lot of, it brings up everything. It's kind of like it opens the door of that closet that is stacked to the ceiling with stuff, and it just all the stuff just falls out. So that's solar eclipse, and then kind of in between the two, you're sorting. And you're saying, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. I have all this stuff. I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. And one of the words in your vocabulary you have to eliminate for now and forevermore is should. So and to see your life purpose a little bit more as life projects, and allow yourself to sort of say, okay, right now you can ask your angels, you can ask your guides, you can ask your higher self, your infinite self, what contribution can I be that would make my heart sing, make me more money than I know what to do with, and be a major gift to the earth and to the people. Because and ask that question, and then look at your pile and say, what makes my heart sing? What makes my heart sing? And what am I willing to receive money for doing? Because that's part of it. It's like, you're saying, I'm not getting paid. Well, are you willing to receive the money? Are you charging people? You can't get paid unless you charge people. So that's one of the things that's happening with a lot of light workers. They're realizing all the stuff they've been dabbling in or giving away or volunteering that really makes their heart sing, but they've never given themselves permission to receive money for it, to receive the exchange. Then you can't expect that any angel guide or anything is going to go against your free will, which has been saying, I don't want to get paid, I don't want to get paid, I don't want to get paid, because you haven't been getting paid, because you haven't been asking for money, and then all of a sudden, give you all this confidence about having a business or a job doing that. So what I would say is, right now, you want to just do a spreadsheet, almost like you can do it energetically or you can do it physically, of all of your different things that you love that makes your heart sing. That's the litmus test. It has to make your heart sing. And then ask, is this a contribution that would be, really viable and vital to society, and where I can make more money than I know what to do with? And you can ask, that's when you ask the guides and your spirit, God, energies, whatever you want to call them, to support you and give you more clarity. And it will unfold. After the next eclipse, after the lunar eclipse and the full moon of next week, that's when the answers are going to be coming crystal clear for everybody. Right now everybody's in that kind of phase. I'm not trying to trivialize what you're going through. I'm just trying to help you to see that you're not alone. You have a tendency to overthink, overanalyze, and then criticize yourself so much that you can't get out of your own way to get started with anything. More or less stay with it long enough to make it viable, and that's why you're confused about your purpose. So it's not so much about this whole purpose thing. Look at it more as projects of contribution, and then it will evolve. And then that, most people don't know their purpose until they're dead, because then the media says, oh, this person was a legend. They were a visionary. They were an author, a writer, or this and that, and they helped all the people get iPads. I don't know if Steve Jobs really knew his purpose until kind of towards the end, where he's like, okay, I think I've changed society. Okay, that's probably pretty good, So, Sam, can you let her talk now, and let me see if that's okay. If Viviana, you're still there?
Yes, I am. And it was perfect. And you're right. I overanalyze, overthink. I am a Virgo, and oh my gosh, that has been triggered so heavily lately. And yes, I will take your advice on board and just, chill out a bit and see this life project and what makes my heart sing. And you're right. I haven't charged because all the doubts come up. Am I doing it right? Are people feeling it? Oh my gosh, I know all that mind chatter. Yep. I just got to go with it.
Virgos are going crazy right now, too. So, yeah, spreadsheets are really good for Virgos, and to-do lists are extremely good. Spreadsheets and to-do lists are extremely good for Virgos right now, just because the energy is, the earth signs are really, this is kind of not your fun time, because this is really requiring that you get stronger in the other, more psychic, intuitive influences, as opposed to just the concrete yes, no decisiveness that you've always been rewarded for in the past. It's kind of becoming an intuitive's world now. In the past, it's been, the old energy has been very physical, very decisive, very Wall Street, very concrete. So the earth signs always did super well in that, and then all kind of the other signs were kind of like, well, I guess maybe I am a little loopy. Oh, I'm not. Maybe I'm a little, freaky or whatever they would refer to us. Now with this energy coming in, the folks who are more intuitive and more kind of like sensitives and all that, this is kind of their high period, and it's more in alignment with kind of how they always functioned. And so it's kind of like, it's a balancing. It's not one's better than the other. It's just a balancing. So for you as a Virgo, and for all of you earth signs out there, apply some of those concrete tools to this kind of spinning energy time, and you'll find a good balance. It'll actually be fun for you. And it will, on the other side of this eclipse, will be the first major shots of clarity. This is for everybody. Then after the eclipse, once we get past that whole 2112 thing, which everybody's so freaked out about, but there's nothing to be freaked out, because you've been going through all the changes everybody's freaking out about. We've already been going through them for a few years now. So this is just going to be more like, wake up, have a great breakfast, enjoy, and say, oh, okay, woo, we made it, now moving on. But once we get on the other side of that, and then once we get on the other side of the new year, into 2013, you're going to see very clear, much more clear-cut paths, and the energy will stabilize a lot more. And when it does, you're going to see that not only do you have these wonderful ideas, but you're going to have a lot more courage than ever before. And almost like you don't even need the courage anymore, because it's just a knowing, and everything's going to line up and move forward. So just go step by step, enjoy your holidays, allow yourself to play, do your cleaning out, do your spreadsheets, and just ride this next 6 weeks out or so. And on the other side of it, you're going to feel much, much, much better. So hopefully that helped. Viviana, hopefully that helped. All right, you guys, guess what? With all that I've said, we come to the end of the show. I cannot believe I did that. But actually, you know what? I'm going to Sam, don't kill me. I'm going to take one more person. Let's see if we can do this technology. Because so many of you called in tonight. Let me just take one more person real quick. I have like a minute, but that's okay. Who was that? Natalie in San Francisco. Your angels want to talk to you, baby, because you're so supposed to end. Can we get you on the line? Is she on still? Maybe not. Sam? Okay. How about Catherine in Cleveland?
Murray,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Just you described me very well in your entire show. Thank you very much. My question is, I'll make it quick. I just needed some guidance as to what angels might help me with some strength in both my self-esteem and physically, because I've recently been ill, and it's just a combination of everything going on in my area of relationship that I have this huge choice in front of me that I just feel I have no energy to make.
Okay. Good question, and thanks for waiting to ask your question. So the Archangel Raphael is for physical healing, but it feels to me more like you need, like he's there with you already anyway. But the other two that I think would really be very supportive and helpful to you is Archangel Jeremiel. He's for emotional healing, and Archangel Uriel. He is for releasing any unforgiveness from your heart, from your mind, from your light bodies. He's wonderful. They're like kind of like the emotional vacuum cleaner angels. They can just sort of suck it all up and help you to find your own equilibrium. It's feeling like a lot is churning in your solar plexus. That's your will center. That's where the self-esteem part is. And so what you want to do is see if you can get someone to kind of do any kind of Reiki or advanced type of energy work, even if you can get your bars run. And one of the things you want to focus on is not just your chakras from the front. See if someone can do Reiki on your solar plexus from the back, because this feels like the self-esteem thing feels like it's attached to a lot of past stuff, and all of your chakras behind you are about the past. All the chakras in front of you are about where you're going, and then right down through the middle of your body are the present. So what I would highly suggest is that if you're going to get energy work done, ask that practitioner to sort of focus a good chunk of it on the back, and that's going to just help to relieve some of the stuff that you're still processing that really doesn't need to be processed anymore. I think about 3/4 of what you're going through is somebody else's and already done, and it's kind of behind you. And then the other portion of it is anticipation. And so there's like this resistance to letting go because you're not used to your solar plexus being empty. It actually feels more habitually comfortable to you to have something churning around that kind of gives you that sense of boundaries, a sense of kind of space around you, because you kind of experience that in pain. Going into this new year, you're going to start to experience that with pleasure. So instead of your kind of the things that make you feel alive right now are painful, it kind of remind you're still breathing because that hurt. You're still that hurt. You're going to start to say, wow, you're going to be experiencing more pleasure as your primary feelings versus, sort of this angst and pain. This is all I can tell you past life stuff. You might want to get an Akashic, session or something, but this is a good majority of it is, number one, is complete. And one of the things they say is please be willing to accept the healing now.
Right.
You're identified with all the issues, and you're super, super, super smart. You're like one of those super smart people, which kind of sometimes gets in your way because you can analyze with the best of them, and you can probably run circles around every doctor and everything else, but it keeps you kind of embroiled in it. Archangel Jeremiel, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Raphael. As far as your self-esteem is concerned, Isis is wonderful, and Kali. So Isis is for, and Athena. So she just came in too. You can, if you go to Doreen Virtue's Archangels and Ascended Masters book, you can get it on Amazon if you don't already have it in your library. You want to have it in your library. You don't want to borrow it from a library. You want to get your own copy. Archangels and Ascended Masters. It talks about all of these that I just mentioned and also how to invoke their energy. It gives you a certain prayer and, their mythology and all the stuff around their story and the whole thing. So that should be very helpful to you. But Athena, Isis, and Kali. Kali's for releasing procrastination and moving forward. Athena is like the warrior goddess, so she's going to give you that sense of protection and strength so you can allow your solar plexus to kind of be emptied without feeling like you have to constantly like shield yourself. Because remember, when you shield yourself the way you have been, you also block out the good stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So
Great.
hopefully that helps. But that book will give you a lot more detail, a lot more than I can do in 4 minutes.
Wonderful, Mari. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome, sweetheart. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Same to you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, I can't believe we have gotten to the end of another Aha Moments radio show. And boy, what a rock and ride this was. They didn't tell me until this morning what we were going to be talking about. And I was like, I think we have a show today. And I'm so glad that so many of you came on and listened in. Thank you so much for calling in. Please, our fundraiser is ending on Sunday, so please, I'd love to work with you, and I'd love to give more money to the critters and to all the folks down in the Hurricane Sandy zone. I really appreciate that, and all of those of you who have even just sent in donations and not even had a reading. I feel so blessed and grateful. Again, you can go to ahamomentsinc.com/Sandy, SANDY Angels, Sandy-Angels. And if you are in the United States, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating anyway and you're not in the United States, enjoy. And all of you who are traveling, be safe, be blessed. Call on Archangel Raphael. He is the Archangel for travel, believe it or not. We'll get all your bags to their destinations in one piece and get them off the conveyor belt early. And also, he's great on the road with you as well. Just surround yourself with lots of angels. Have a safe, wonderful, happy, joyful, expansive, loving Thanksgiving, and we will see you here next week. I'm Mari. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.